Hey, what's going on, people? Strange thing. Well, I don't know if it was strange, but I overheard this conversation earlier in the week, and then someone sent me this video about building wealth, and it was something. It was a similar theme in both events. The first guy, I was at a restaurant, and he was an older guy. He was talking to his friend. He was just really distraught, very distraught. It's like I did all the right stuff, went to school, invested my money. Apparently, there was an illness in the family that took a lot of their on-hand assets, and here he was, 65, I believe, and he had to go out and find a job because the event that happened, the health event, plus their investments were regressing. And he was just sitting there. His friend was like, "Well, at least you have some stuff." He's like, "At least your house is paid off and everything." He said, "I know, but with these bills that we have at the age of 65, um, our retirement income's not enough." Then I got this video and was listening to it, and the guy said something that I've just realized for a long time. I've met very few people who became wealthy from investing, and especially in the stock market. Very few. Real estate, once again, I know people who have leveraged many houses, but I only know a handful who actually houses are completely owned outright. And to me, real estate is not so much like investing in stocks and bonds. It's totally different because there's a hard asset. There's something real tangible. You can go look at it. You can, it's collateral. You try to go to a bank now and talking about collateralizing stocks and bonds. You used to be able to do that, but now they're kind of like, well, we may collateralize 10% or 25%, if that. So definitely some things to look at. But the whole thing that really stood out to me was everyone that I know who is well off and continues to be well off. And understand, you can have a business, and if you leverage it, and if your business is on a house of cards, bad things can happen. But people that I know who are solidly wealthy and got their own the business. I know one guy. He's relatively young. He's 39. He and his friends started a business once they got out of college. Did first few years were kind of rocky. They were going through realizations, but they just sold this business like 2 years ago. I think he said for like 9 million. Now, understand, people going like, well, they ain't a whole. To me, $9 million is a lot of money. He had to split that between his partner because they had a 50-50 stake in the business. But he's 38 years old. I estimate, because I don't know all the parameters if they had loans or whatever. But any way you slice it, at the age of 38 years old, he came out of this thing with millions. At 38, millions. Now, to compare and contrast, average person in a lifetime makes 900,000 to 1.4, 1.5 lifetime. That's everything. That's, from your summer jobs, uh, lifetime. That's what the average person makes lifetime. So you got to really think about that. And I know, was reading this thing where youngest under 40, all these people in Silicon Valley making all this money, none of them got there by investing. They all got there by building a business, building something tangible, something real, something that you can see and understand. To me, just to me, building a business is a better path to creating wealth because you get to drive it. Whereas investments, you can't drive investments. Now, investments can drive you. Investments can go sideways. Investments can be really rocky. They can create a lot of different things. And this is one of the reasons that I have changed up what I'm doing, and it's more about building businesses, creating businesses. Initially, all of the information that's coming out right now is hustle based or motivation based or mindset based because I want to get to the business creation stuff after that. So, essentially, if you are looking at what's going on now, I'll do this beginning of the next month because I'm not gonna do it now because there's some things I need to do to get that offer ready. But essentially, I will really stay on this course because I look at what building a business has done for me. And the thing is, I consider myself to be relatively young. I still got a lot of, the tooth isn't as long as it's going to get. And building businesses has created a level of freedom for me that most people don't get to enjoy until retirement. Be able to wake up this morning like today, or to take off when you want to, just to do what the heck you want to do. It, to me, that's very, very important. I'll tell you why. After the storage auction deal, and I started with the writing and the books, I had an event where it was a long time where I didn't really have to work that hard and the money kept coming in. And I was like, oh, this is nice. This is very nice. And understand, it wasn't even close to the storage auction money. It wasn't even close. But what I got for what I was putting out was I would put out a one and I would get 10,000 back. In the storage auction game, I would put out $100 and get maybe $300 back, or $400 back, or maybe 500. Or a really, really good one, I may get 2,500 back. But that wasn't the norm. The norm was to triple the money or make 4 times the money. With this, there's another thing that happened, and this is about building the business. Take the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel would make more than most people's part-time jobs. Say, because I did some year-to-date studies on that. I looked at where I was this time last year, and just on the AdSense, it was double where it was last year because the channel's bigger, there's more videos, more people are watching. That goes back to the principles of building a business, of putting together some stuff that is more robust than just trying to do the investment thing, because it's an investment in your time, but you build something. Like the videos are something that I own and I can control. I can pull them down, I can put them in other places. Once again, with stocks and bonds, you can't do this stuff. And I looked at where I'm heading, and I'll just give you the plan, because I looked at, let's take the storage auction business, which is a great business. You buy stuff, you sell stuff, you can build stuff. Within 2 years, a person can get to a very good income in the storage auction business, even now in 2014. But you're going to work your ass off, and you're not going to control a good part of your day, because when do auctions happen? Monday through Friday, between 8:30 and 5:30. So if you want to go get stuff, you have to be available during those hours. And sure, you can take off and choose not to go, but when you build a storage auction business, you have to feed the beast. So if you don't have any products, you don't have a business. And that's one of the things. Whereas this is different. Now, this is very, very different, because the way that I'm building this business is I'm building this business to create time on the front end. Many people will work, right? Invest, save, buy their house, send their kids to college, do all this stuff. And then when they're late 50s, if they're lucky, they can kind of kick back and go, oh, we can take trips. And oh, now what about if you can do all of that at a much earlier age? What if you can do that, say, next year or the year after? So you get to enjoy, because to me the greatest wealth of all is freedom. I mean, what is money if you don't have freedom, and what is money if you don't have good health? Freedom and good health, to me, are operating in the same tangent, So you have good health and you have freedom, and then you have money coming in that isn't dependent upon you being somewhere all the time. Because say you get your thing geared where you got to work hard 2 days a week. That's a win. That's a win. Okay, so you work like this thing in the hospital. I used to work in the hospital. This thing called Baylor, where you would work every weekend, 12-hour shifts. I think 16-hour shifts. Yeah, I was doing 16-hour shifts, Shit, this is a long freaking day. So you work 32 hours, but you get paid for 40 and you have Monday through Friday. If you really think about that, that's a win. Now, what if you get to pick your days? And this is where I'm really with the creation of content, writing books and doing stuff, because I can write a book today. And this is one of the things that, from being a lifelong reader, being a member of a book club, take Zora Neale Hurston. When she wrote her books, she wasn't recognized in her day. But, unfortunately, after she died, they was like, oh, wow, she's a great writer and all this other stuff. But I've seen this time and time again that someone will put out a comic book or a movie, not a movie, a book, something, and then it catches on later. Now, the way that I'm thinking, the more stuff you put out, the more opportunities that you have for that thing to catch on at some point. And this is why I'm in a really serious creation mode, because I know how this thing works now. This is my 5th year. We are, 2 weeks and some days from my 5th year of doing this, the anniversary, July 17th. And I've studied this, and there's a group of what's called mid-list writers. There are people that have, they're not household names. There's people that know of them. There's groups. They have fan bases, but they're not like Charlie Sheen or, Charlie's Third. They're not household names. But this is the thing: you don't have to be a household name to become wealthy in the United States of America. You don't even have. I mean, there are people who became wealthy, millionaires, and the only folks who know of them are the people in their city. That is how many people we have here. So I'm looking at this and it's like, okay, so what I need is what's called a backlist. A backlist is all of your works. So I did this study about 2.5 years ago. Writers with a backlist of 20 books, 25 books, 30 books, I just studied, they're continually selling. Now, and the thing is, I want you to think about this. I'm going to use a little calculation here. I want you to think about this. Say you have 40 books, right? You got 45 books. So we're going to take that number. Hold on. All right. Because I'm just going to say you got, clear this. You have 45 books, 45 times $2. That's $90, right? 45 books times $2. And that's $2.99 Kindle price, and you got 45 books. So that's $90 for every hold on. Yeah, 45 books. Let me do this again. 45 times 2. So every time you sell one of those books, that's $90. So you do that times 100. So if you sell 100 of those books, each one every month, 100, it's 9 G's. That's at $2. Now, where I got this from, this thing, is the dollar section of when we had the storage auction business, because there was times that the dollar section would pay the bills. There's other times that the high end section would pay the bills. But what I learned from that experience of having 4,000 square feet of stuff for $1, then the middle section, and then the high end section, was we were consistently selling. We had people who came in, like I had a weekend, it was really weird. We had 10 sets of washer and dryers. What I did is I marked down the ones that were marginal, and the ones that were exceptional, I actually marked the price up and put a blitz up on Craigslist and ended up selling 8 of them. Really didn't sell much of anything else that weekend. But, it was still $2,600 just off the washer and dryers. Because one of the things is, when you have a business, you control what you sell. You control what you put out. Well, going back to creating wealth, say it takes me 5-6 years to get those 45 books up, or 50 books. Really, there's a lot more than that. Okay, during that time, and this is, going back to the guy that sold the business and had a few millions, you're making money when you're building money. when you're building a business. So say it takes me 6 years to get those 45 books out. Okay. Every year I'm making a little bit more money. And it gets to a point where, but the thing is, I'm also maintaining my freedom. That's very, very critical. I'm also maintaining my freedom. I'm building a backlist, but I'm maintaining freedom of my time and I'm increasing my asset base because a book is an asset. It's something that you can sell. So when I get to the 45, 50 level of books, there may be one that some television show producers like, hey, we want to turn that into a movie, or hey, we want to do an option on that, or hey, we want to do this. I have the ability, since I created that and I owned it and I built it, that I can say, hey, and the option is essentially they just bidding for first position. People have, usually there's not a lot of money. It could be $2,000, it could be $5,000. It's like essentially they have the right of first refusal. So someone comes and options your book, and you get 20 grand. Just boom, here, just for you to say yes to our offer later on. That is the world, and this is the reason that I really jumped into this, because it allows me, and there's other businesses like this. There's other things you can do. I mean, there's people building skateboards, Bathing Ape. There's so many businesses that by you creating and building something, you put yourself in the catbird seat for the future. So with this plan of the 50 books, actually there's more. Like I said, say 6 years from now that I finally hit it. And understand, I'm just using $2 because the books are going to be all over the place in terms of price range and things. Because what you have to understand, like if you follow me on Instagram, is Yes I Kill Dragons. That's the name. I am creating experiences and knowledge base to do other things later on. See, this is what I figured out with those books, because I haven't even gotten to the fiction stuff yet. The rest of this year is pretty much on the nonfiction business, hustling, selling, putting together those things. Then I'll move into fiction once I get through with that stuff, because there's a ton of books that's coming out just on the business hustling tip. Business, hustling, build a business, mindset, all that kind of stuff that's coming out. And then I'll be able to do the fiction stuff. Why? Because I control my time and I'll have income coming in. Because I already know that once I put up X amount of books on certain subjects, I'll have income coming in every month, rain or shine. How much? Don't know. But I know I will have income because I've watched, especially I made a really smart move when I did the storage auction book, and I didn't put the book on Kindle, and I left it as a paperback, and I wrote it really hard for about 2.5 years, because this is the thing with consumer pricing models. I have this book for $99, right? And then I put it on Kindle. People who want the book on Kindle are going to want the book for significantly less on Kindle, because it's on Kindle, it's not printed up, this. And I would have screwed myself. And I saw that several times, because, I would move a book, or would create a special version for Kindle, and I would see it's like, hey, where's the rest? I'm selling this book for $30 as a paperback, and then I put a version on a Kindle, and people want that same $30 version for $3 or $4 on Kindle and would be pissed. So I saw that coming, so I didn't put the book on Kindle. Didn't put it up there, and was probably one of my better decisions, because you have to understand how people look at stuff. And the internet has spoiled people, but that's how business is. But essentially, going back to the example of the guy and his partner who built this business and sold it at 38, the chances of you or I becoming a billionaire are like 1,000,000,000, but the chances of you and I becoming millionaires are like 1 out of 100. It's very, very possible to do that if you build a business. I did some stuff in 2006. I liquidated my traditional investments. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're nuts." I had some bills I had to pay off. I had some bills. This is what I'm talking about. Live within your budget, because it was a huge. And fortunately, it worked out for me, because with the liquidation of that stuff, I was able to pay it off and be done with it and not have to worry about that anymore. Whereas my traditional investments would have tanked. So it was a good move. But with that, I just looked at how long it took to get to that point, what I had to do. Because the whole thing is, I don't think people understand that investing for rich people is about the preservation of capital, whereas investing for poor people can be a fool's errand. Because I knew someone that I was dating and I saw her paperwork for her 401k and stuff. Understand, if you get started when you're 20 something and you consistently put money in there, it can be a good nut in your 40s. It really can. But most people don't start at 20 something. Most people don't start at 30 something. Most people start at 40 something. So you've got to put out this huge amount of money somewhere so you can have X amount of money for when you get older. But with people living longer, healthcare becoming more expensive, it's very easy. As the case of the guy that was sitting in the booth, he was lamenting that he was going to have to find a job because the bills they had. The guy said he had been like effectively retired 4 or 5 years, and it was over. He had to get out there and get it. Now, I want you to think: if you build a business, whatever that business may be, and you get to the point of you have what interval retirement. Say you build a business, it does really well, and you take like a year off and just go around the world, or then you come back and say, okay, I'm gonna build this, or I'm gonna go back, or I'm gonna do, because once you build a business, once you build one business, you can build another. Also, another thing that happens is you get a different tribe. If you build a business and you're successful, it's like, hey, I built this business, I sold it. People will pay you to be a consultant. There's so many things you can do with that experience to make more money in the future. That's another one of the things about building a business, because I've looked at it, and when that guy in the video said, it's very rare that I meet someone that got rich, investing. Everyone looks at Warren Buffett. I love Warren. However, I'm going to say this: Warren got started doing this stuff when that many people were investing. He was a smart guy. He got the right stuff, and he went at it hard. He didn't have a lot of competition. If you were in the stock markets and you got to that level from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, you didn't have a lot of competition. There were so many things you could do, and you look at all those guys who got in early and stuck with it, and got their billionaires now. They got in. They actually created these markets. Whereas if you were Jill American, Joe American, and you make $50,000 a year, then you're getting hammered with 12 to 18 grand of that being gone in some version of a tax, which leaves you 38 to 32, which is 3 G's a month net income. Oh, health insurance, other things. So you're taking home $2,400 a month after you pay bills. With the oh, and what do you? I mean, when you really look at that, how are you going to really, really put away some serious cash? It's impossible at that level. It's impossible. You have to get to a certain point where you can actually save, or you can move to South America and live in Colombia, where if you're making that kind of money, you balling. At that point, you're balling, because your household expenses, all these expenses, they're nil. They're really nothing. But if you're just making that, how are you going to invest your way to wealth? Whereas if you took $200 a month and went to some course, a training course, and got a new skill, and then took that skill and earned additional income on top of your 50, okay, now we're talking. Now it's like, oh, okay, I took this $200, spent 6-month course, $1,200. Now I have this skill. I can go out and on my free time and make an extra G a month. Okay, so now you have moved up to where now you've got $4,000 coming in. You got $1,000 you didn't have before. That, hey, would I do the stock market? I wouldn't do the stock market. I've looked at it several different ways. I looked at my experience with it. There are people who are making killer money there. It's really about their position. It's about what they know. And as I talked to a guy, one of my neighbors, he's a day trader, and we've had this conversation several times. It's like, if you don't understand it, don't invest in it. And there's a lot of these things I don't understand. I don't even want to devote the mental bandwidth to learning this stuff, because I have my own wealth building plan of putting out these books, putting out this content. YouTube has taught me a lot. I mean, once again, it's about you between YouTube, the starter out your business, putting stuff out there, building stuff, and being consistent. There are many people. I remember when there was some brouhaha about, I should help people for free and all this other stuff. And the thing is, when I started building this channel, I worked very hard for many months and didn't make a lot of money because, money started coming like after, and I was just hitting it, hitting it, and hitting it, and hitting it. And the thing is, because I was unvarnished, I didn't go like, hey, I didn't lie to people. I pretty much came out like, I got this book, I want you to buy it. And a lot of people get like, no, 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 that's too honest. We want you to trick us, and we want you to, rub my back and tickle me or something, and then slide the offer to me. Nonsense like that. But after building this channel and seeing how it works, I'm like, there's other things I can do, because mark my words, if you stay active and you're building a business, you're doing something, it puts you in the fast lane to take advantage of new technologies and opportunities that are coming. Understand this: new technology, it's coming. The new opportunities are coming. So if you're already in the fast lane, like, and then here comes this new blazing fast technology, you're already there on the road to take advantage, where someone else, they're at home. They gotta amp up. They gotta get started. They gotta do all this stuff where you're already in the fast lane. You're already on that road, and you can take this stuff. And because I just to let you know, I'm gonna do a course on Gumroad, because Gumroad is, like I said, it's one of the best things I've ever seen. And many people don't understand the biggest issue on the internet isn't your product. It isn't the design of your website. It's being discovered. That's your biggest issue on the internet. That's everyone's issue on the internet: being discovered. Being discovered. Big brands like Coke, Dell, Cartier, everyone already knows about them. So people go there to find the best price or to find out what's going on with them. But when you are, hey, my name is Ned, a new business, your biggest issue is being discovered. Give you an example. Waffle House, right? What does Waffle House do that's remarkable? The same menu on every one of them: eggs, sausage, bacon, toast, waffles. It's not really remarkable, right? But Waffle House is known. They don't have to be discovered. They're known. You know that, hey, for like $7, you can go to this Waffle House in Villa Rica, and it's going to be pretty much like this Waffle House up in Alpharetta. They've created a standard. It's nothing remarkable. It's not rocket science. It's a $1 billion brand. It's a $1 billion brand because over the time they built it, they stayed consistent, they learned from their mistakes, and they built this business. It's not rocket science, and they're getting richer and richer every day. Which I put out to you that many people think your business must be sexy, it must be eye popping. Give you another one. Angie's List. It's a list of referrals. Angie's List, Craigslist, they got started early. Angie's List, Craigslist. She's a millionaire. Angie's List. She's a millionaire. It's nothing earth shattering. And that's one of the things that I see with some people who are what I call information house. They're looking for something to be earth shattering, to be so over the top news, so special. And really, one of the things that I've come to know from reading books is just sometimes being different is enough. Different and consistent. I'm here to tell you, if you start this business today and you work on it for the next 10 years and you learn from your mistakes, if you have to do a pivot, you make your pivot, that chances are you're going to make more money than if you invested money in the stock market. Way more. And you'll build some stuff that you can leave your kids. There was this article about Sting saying he wasn't going to leave his kids, and start this whole conversation. And I noticed that I was like, well, to me, Sting's kids are already wealthy because they grew up rich. Sting's kids didn't grow up in some regular world. They grew up where your dad's a rock star. They grew up rich. They can walk up and it's like, hey, I'm Sting's son. That opens doors. They already have a certain form of wealth that most of us will never get. And he's like, I'm not going to leave him $300, 300 million or whatever he's worth. And maybe that could just be some publicity just to keep people away from his kids. It's like, hey, you ain't getting shit, so no one's like, hey, well, we ain't getting anything. So if we're going to be their friend, we're going to be their friend on virtue of who they are as a person. Could be. But I'm quite sure he's leaving them something. But the conversation that went on was, oh, would you be mad at dad? Blah, blah. And I'm just sitting there like, these kids have already had a fantastic fucking life by virtue of him being their dad and taking care of them. They didn't live in the hood. They weren't riding around in rust buckets. These were private school educated little kids who are still not living in poverty. They ain't living in poverty. They got an incredible head start. And then it hit me. Why am I thinking like this? Because I believe that I can build a business. I believe that anyone with the proper tools can build. So people are looking at us like, man, it'd be nice to get that money. It'd be nice so I can just kick back. Don't have to worry about anything. Let this notion of just fucking kicking back and not doing anything and being fucking taken care of, let that shit go. It is killing people, that whole kickback mentality. I just want to kick back and do nothing. The money comes in, all this stuff's going on, and life is great. Oh, God. Let that go. Because when you're looking, it makes it very hard for you to objectively look at a situation because you insert yourself into it and you're looking at it from the wrong way. I'm not mad at Sting or Bill Gates or any of these guys who are not leaving their kids an eye-popping sum of money, because understand this, they're getting left some, and compared to what they have, many people think they're not getting anything. I don't know what Bill Gates' worth is. That's something else. I stopped counting other people's money on that level, because you have to focus on your thing. But these kids are going to get millions if they don't already have it. They may already have a house that's paid off, college education that's paid off, X amount of money in the bank. They're already set. So, this whole thing, to inherit billions of dollars. Okay, I'll give you an example. Look at the Walmart kids. They inherited the money, and what are they doing? They're spending money. And I think one has a museum. But typically, when you get that kind of money, shit, many of you, if you won $2 million, you quit your job. You'd be out. You'd be like, I'm not working anymore. You'd be out. Then after you got bored, you start doing something else again. If you don't just blaze through the money. Just giving people a lot of money without the guidance on how to handle it is dangerous. It's just dangerous. And, I understand that. But many people who've never had it, who can't see it, who are caught up in the kickback mode, oh, Lord, God, leave. Give me the money, give me the money. They can't see that because that money represents freedom that they can have if they choose to make different decisions in their life. They can have that freedom. They could have that money. They could be doing that stuff. But since we're caught up on, hey, Dad should leave us this money, we should get this inheritance, that they really missed the larger point, that money is out here. It's out here. Will the kids become as rich as Dad? No, but the chance of them becoming solid citizens, making millions, it's very, very possible. Starting from nothing. And understand, all of these kids, the Gates kids, Sting kids, they've had this tremendous head start. And one of the biggest head starts and one of the biggest assets they have is connections. Sting's kids are connected to people like you will never be able to get to. I mean, give you an example. Sting goes to a business meeting. He takes his kid. Hey, this is my kid. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, this is Arthur. And then, the kid grows up and he knows Arthur. And Arthur runs this conglomerate. And, he's on the plane. Hey, Arthur, what's up? You can't get those kind of connects. It's hard to get those kind of connects. They got it by inheritance. I'm quite sure all of them can call up anybody and get into places that other folks would kill. And people miss that because they're looking at the money. He should leave them the money. He should. No. He's already done, a solid one, being a father, being in their lives, two, providing them an amazing life and the upbringing. Seriously, he's done a great job. But once again, when you're operating on a limited mindset of lack and you just see the money, you really, really don't understand why these decisions are made. But also, this comes from building your own business. When you build a business, when you do these things, you understand that it can be done. You don't think that it's some special magic fairy dust. You're just like, oh, hard work, effort, a good idea. There are kids who started businesses 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago who are multimillionaires. They can go to college. You say, hey, I'm going to do this app. The guy that did the Yo app, what app, who tried to get hired by Facebook and they turned him down. Facebook 6 years later bought his app for $19 billion. There are kids who went to college and went to in grad school in that same 6 year period, and they will not even make 2 million lifetime, let alone some 19 billion in 6 years. Won't even make 2 million lifetime. So you got to understand, with that, that's once again starting a business, something. I mean, just think about it. And I'm going to give you like the low. Say you start this business, right? It's a service business. Say you're cleaning carpets. You go ahead and you read books, you learn how to scale up. You don't just start one carpet operation. You get one, and as soon as you can, you hire someone to work in the operation and get yourself out, and then you get another location. Then you say you've got 5 trucks running. I'm just throwing this out there. You get your trucks paid off, you got your crews, you're doing, 40 grand a month. That's what you're doing gross, 40 grand a month. So after you pay everybody, you net out at 15 G's, maybe 20. Like I said, I don't know the carpet business. I'm just throwing numbers out. So you net out at 15 G's. That's 185,000 a year. You're not cleaning carpets. You're doing whatever the hell you want to do. And see, this is where tribalism comes into it and creates a problem. Because when you, who was the leader, who went ahead and put all this stuff together, because you get to sit on your ass because you put this together and you put these pieces onto the chessboard, then all of a sudden it's like, he ain't really working. Tribalism dictates that you should be working just as hard as everyone else. A evolved intellectual mind realizes how the game is and understands. What do I say? What do I say? Don't hate the game. Don't hate the player. Learn the fucking rules so you can win. Those are the rules. You go ahead, you put the chess pieces on the board, and you move them. And that's how you get wealthy. You do not become wealthy by being a chess piece, worker bee. You get wealthy by moving the chess pieces and manipulating the chess pieces, not being the chess piece. Because see, when you are the game, you can't play the game. And as a chess piece, you are the game. And that is one of the things that messes up so many people. Because I get a lot of freaking hate. I get hate, from people I roll off in my freaking family. Because it's like, you don't have a job. You're not. And I'm just sitting there like, you got to be kidding me. Because I don't have that tribalism of, essentially growing up, it was 2 choices. Go work in a coal mine or work in a steel mill. I wasn't doing neither one. I wasn't doing that shit. Did I think I was better than everyone else? No. I had different desires than everyone else. But because I had different desires and I acted upon them and I got the fuck out of Alabama, everyone's like, oh, he thinks he's better. Oh, he's brand new, blah, 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 blah. Because I refused to embrace tribalism that was going to dictate to me at an early age that only thing that I was good enough to do was work in a coal mine or a steel plant. And this isn't to cast aspersions on people who do that stuff. It's just to say that shit wasn't for me. So when you break free of tribalism thinking, then bam, okay, chess piece. It's like I can manipulate chess piece. I could play the game versus being the game. But as long as you're on that tribalism tip, this is good enough for my granddad. This is good enough for my dad. It's good enough for me. It has nothing to do with it. If you have these opportunities to live this life, to do these things, to embrace something that is wonderful, why would you turn it down because your granddaddy was a coal miner. You see this like in India, the caste system. People always talk about the caste system in India. We have a caste system here in America. Poor white trash. You have someone from, quote, the poor white trash caste system. They go out and they get out of it. Oh, yeah, yeah. So what, you're a nurse? You still poor white trash. That's your family. That's where you came from. That's all you'll ever be. That's the caste system. Oh, you from the hood? You're just a little hood rat. You're just a little hood rat. So what if you got out the hood? So what if you built this business? So no, no, no. You're just a hood rat. That's your caste system. Tribalism, caste systems are very, very powerful because they keep people in a state of mediocrity. And, you know, it is just amazing when, because you were born in a certain part of the country and you were born to a certain tribe, that you should not have any other ambitions. No, but not you. You just poor white trash. You just a little darky. Not you. You shouldn't have any higher ambitions. Nope. You should stay right where you are. Don't break your heart by dreaming. That's good enough for you. That coal mine, that steel mill, being the maid, that's good enough for you, and you should be grateful. People embrace that shit. They take it and they go with it, and they just cannot move beyond it, which makes it impossible for them to embrace the concept of, once again, not being a chess piece, moving the chess pieces. When you start moving the chess pieces and become an owner, your life will change. Your thinking will change. How you do stuff, how you meet people, everything's just going to change. And I'll just tell you, many of your former tribe members are not going with you. They can't come with you. They mentally are not able to come with you. A few will. You will inspire some. You'll help some get out of the tribe, but most of them are not coming with you. They're not coming with you. It's not going to happen. You can't bring these people along because mentally they're in a place that is just not ready for that elevation, that mental elevation. But you got to realize that as long as you're a chess piece, you're the game, you will be played. Think about that. Think about that. As long as you are a chess piece, a worker bee, a part of the cog. This is what I talk about with eBay and Amazon. You're not a business owner with eBay and Amazon. You're a chess piece. You know, you move on the board, you make money. Some chess pieces have more power than others, but until you actually elevate and create, or when your game is really shiny and crisp, you've created your own chessboard and you've created your own chess pieces. Moving that shit, that's totally different. I was dating this chick one time and she was talking about, playing in the sandbox. And I said, you can play in that sandbox, but understand I created the field that your sandbox is on. And she just got real quiet and she's like, because I did some NLP stuff on her. She didn't know what the hell was going on. And yeah, that's really powerful stuff when you create the chessboard and you create the chess piece, because your mentality changes, totally changes. You become a creator and an innovator. You become this person that isn't about survival. You're not about surviving. You're about thriving. And many people are in the survival mode. It's like everyone knows that once you do whatever you need to do to get your bills paid, then your motivation just drops. I was telling someone, and they had commented on the video, that you shouldn't use jealousy, hate, revenge as motivation, because once those things are achieved, your power is gone. It's very caustic agents of motivation to use. And if you're just surviving, when you reach those survival levels, then your motivations, it goes away. So this is why you have to really think about what motivates you, what drives you, and to really push yourself to operate on a higher level. So definitely some stuff for you to think about, because just building a business is just a better, surer, clearer path to wealth. And today, there's more information out there than ever how to do this. Ever. 8 years ago, entrepreneur was like a dirty word. Now it's like the buzzword. Be an entrepreneur. We want you to come in this company and we want you to have an entrepreneurial mindset. I mean, everyone loves us now. Everyone. So it's a cool thing to do. So if you like this hangout, check it out. It's going to be here. Let's go up there. Somewhere here. It's going to be somewhere here. I don't know because this thing will flip on me. But there'll be some information. Go ahead and get the free. I put up a video on how to get the free audiobook. Go ahead and join Hustlers University. And if you really want to enhance your game, there's Hustlers Camp. There's the Hustlers Mindset Project, Strengthening Your Mind. And there's the YouTube stuff, because that's going to be an ongoing thing. I've decided that I'm going to continue to update it periodically after this week. Then there's also 30 days to $2,500. You want to get in because I'm raising the price of that, because essentially I'm adding more stuff to it, and it's going to be very, very cool. And also be sure to get on the email list, because I sent out a special offer that I think many people will want to take advantage of in the next 2 days. Seriously, because it's going to be dope, dope, dope. All right, this is Glendon Cameron. I'll see you on the good side.